Donovan with the roadmap.
All right, so SirsiDynix produces roadmaps on a regular basis to let us know kind of where they're headed with their products, and those were included in the information for this meeting. I only have a handful of things to mention because there's really not a whole lot that is that significant in this set of roadmaps. In their core product timeline, they do mention the upgrade that we've already talked about at some length. They also have a new version of web services, 15.08, which is available now. We are on version 14.10 right now, so we are going to be looking at making that upgrade, but we need to know a little more about the 7.5.3 upgrade and how those are interrelated before we make a decision on how to proceed on that. And that's really all I have for the core products. As far as the Blue Cloud staff products, the only thing I would highlight on that is that we have purchased, these documents are not easy to work with, we have purchased Mobile Circ and Blue Cloud Analytics. Those are not implemented yet, but we will be working on those this calendar year, so you'll be hearing a lot about those. Mobile Circ is just what the name implies. It's a way to do circulation with mobile devices, so it would be useful for moving around the floor, going to remote sites, things like that. Classrooms.
The park.
And Blue Cloud Analytics is the successor to Web Reporter. So it still uses Web Reporter as kind of its engine, but it's a different interface. And so we have purchased those two products, and we are going to be proceeding with implementation this year. Yeah.
To refresh my memory, in order for us to get to the point where we eliminate Citrix, we have to go with the Blue Cloud circulation.
We'd have to go with their circulation, their
pilot coming up later in the year, what it looks like.
The pilot is
pilot. We wouldn't even look at that because it's pilot.
Yeah, well, the pilot for Blue Cloud circulation is supposed to be coming out in fourth quarter of 2015 and all the way through the second quarter of 2016. But I don't know that I've heard that those are actually out
I don't know anybody that's on the
But that is the primary piece before we even can consider eliminating Citrix.
I would say circulation as well as cataloging.
Cataloging, okay.
We have cataloging.
We have cataloging.
You're able to use cataloging now?
We are.
Okay, all right.
With the major caveat, and Cheryl can tell us more about it, though. I believe there is functionality in the Horizon client, which is not in the Blue Cloud product.
Yeah.
So we're still going to probably need to have some people using Horizon.
For the purpose of this, I'm already thinking of budgeting for the next Citrix upgrade. Hypothetically, for the next time we need to review Citrix out of support, we may be able to be at the Blue Cloud side of it to eliminate the Citrix server farm. And is that the right mindset?
That's where Donovan and I have been for a while.
Yeah, we have been saying that to each other for the last however long it's been since they announced this.
Sometimes I lose track of where these pieces are at.
But we're making progress.
Yeah.
No, you're right. There is the theoretical possibility. I would also throw out there, though, another possibility for getting off Citrix would be to really move to SirsiDynix's software as a service platform, which would actually still be using Citrix because that's how they distribute that, but we wouldn't be paying for it or maintaining it. So, but there are some serious technical obstacles to doing that as well.
Well, you're probably paying it indirectly anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and there are some obstacles to getting onto SaaS. So that's another conversation.
With Blue Cloud, though, and with the database being hosted locally, how does it connect to the database?
Web services.
A new version of web services, actually, which we don't use for anything except to put my enrollment.
Yeah. With the 7.5.3 upgrade, I did put in a request to get us up to the most recent web services too, but we're not really at this point using. We have web services. We're just not at the.
So if you use the Blue Cloud cataloging, you'd be taking advantage of that hook.
Yeah.
Yes, we would.
So it's not like a local client. It's like a.
Web service is a local server. We have.
So you still have to maintain another server of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, right now,
That's why I'm like, you'd eliminate the server farm, but you'd have a different server for Blue Cloud stuff, and
Plus, you don't have to pay Citrix.
yeah, no, I know.
That's the,
No, I know there's definitely a cost reduction, but I'm just trying to get a handle on this.
and in theory, TIP would go away too, because all that would be transferred over to web services.
Right. So they're trying to eliminate all the TIP stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this Blue Cloud set of solutions, they've been talking about it for 4 or 5 years at this point, and we're just now getting to the point where actual usable modules are starting to come out. So we're excited, but we're still a ways out probably.
And then with analytics, does can users define queries in some way?
Like EAS.
Sort of like not rewriting native SQL, but where you could, pick your own parameters, as it were. And
I believe so, but I don't want to say for sure. I know we'll
Watch
support,
more videos on it than me.
so that you wouldn't have
single
to.
sign-on instead of our whole for the entire region.
Say it again. Sorry.
It will support individual sign-ons instead of like the 6 for the entire region, which we currently have.
No, okay, but I'm more interested in the. I need to write to the help desk if I need a query that doesn't exist. Can I basically write my own query based on picking? I think that you can, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm gonna say yes and no on that, and of course we need to know more about it before we can say for sure. But technically, that exists right now with Web Reporter. We could throw that open and let individual users do that. The training requirement on that is going to be very steep because you have to have a pretty good understanding of the Horizon database before you can start doing that. And that's why it just hasn't ever been something that's been.
Then you also have the
possible.
potential for
One badly
written
written
query can
bring
bring
this
it
down.
Those of us who can fix the mistake.
Those are really screwed up.
So I think the question would be, does Blue Cloud Analytics make that database more accessible so that the training requirement would go down a little bit, so it would be more feasible to let online library staff do that? And we're not sure.
Demos I've seen, yes, but I don't know if that's real or if that's just them doing their demo database.
Right.
I would have to actually play around with it to know for sure.
Don't forget, it's still based off of Web Reporter software.
Web Reporter is still the underlying engine.
build a front end for a web report.
And I think there's more.
I think there's a little more to it.
There's more going on
than
than
More to
just
that.
that, but that's part of it, yeah.
But when you log into it, it looks a lot like Web Reporter. So.
A lot more graphical though.
So I think we still have a lot of questions about Blue Cloud Analytics. But SirsiDynix has made it clear that that's the way forward. So if we want to keep doing reports, we do need to make this upgrade, which is why we purchased it.
On your test database, does Web Reporter
No.
can it access?
It can, but I've never pointed it to that one. So.
We do enough different things on the test database. We'd have to change the way we set that up, I think. I'm looking at Tyler and Cheryl.
We can point it to Web Reporter.
Right.
If we
But we
wanted
use that
to.
test database for a lot of different things.
Well, the server is used for several things, but the database is mainly just me and then Tyler in there destroying things.
Yeah.
So.
But where I think James is going, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, is that we would have a copy of the database that people could be reporting on so that the fears of bringing things down through an ill-conceived query go down. That's certainly something we've talked about over the years. The cost of that has been high enough that we haven't done it, but through virtual servers.
I certainly would love to have something like that, but I wouldn't expect 1 or 2 people using it to be worth.
Yeah,
It's a neat idea.
I think we would only be able to have Web Reporter hooked up to one or the other at a time. So.
Sorry for the digression.
Thank you for the clarification.
We will probably come back to you when we're looking for pilot testers on this one. That was all I had for the Blue Cloud staff products. As far as the discovery timeline, which is the third document, the only thing I had to mention there is that we are Tyler, what did you tell me? We're not on.
4.1.
I'm sorry?
4.5.0.1 is our current version.
Yeah, we are on the 4.5 version that they have in the timeline, so we're up to date on that. They're promising 4.6 in the second quarter of 2016. When we hear about that, we'll take a look at it and make the upgrade, but that has not come out yet. And that is what I have for the roadmaps.
Okay, do we have any announcements?
I have one. The Travis Sioux Library System is considering adding schools to their online system. And so they were interested in hearing from school librarians. So Brad and representing a public school, Zeppa, and Dick Kettering representing a private school, graciously gave an entire school day to go to Mankato. They had also requested a public library perspective because this was mostly a group of board members and then public library directors. No, there was one school person there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Morgan Hansen had agreed to go, but then she was ill. So at the last minute, Morgan wasn't able to attend with us. So Donovan and I tried to the best of our ability to cover the public library end of things. They sent us 47 questions and gave us 2 hours. And actually, they shied us on the 2 hours because when we got to 11:45, they wanted us out of the room so they could talk. Oh. So I really do appreciate Brad and Dick giving a day to basically help another region, and certainly it isn't going to make any benefit to Zembroda Mazeppa or Shattuck St. Mary's or really even SELCO necessarily. It was just the professional thing to do. So we had a good time. Donovan went along also so he could answer some of the system-related questions. So.
Anything else? Otherwise, it looks like we have a tentative meeting on February 18th, possibly a meeting on March 17th. I guess if we meet, we'll probably be having...
St. Patrick's Day.
Yes. What's that mean? We're having green beer and green food?
We could do green food, not green beer. Or we could meet someplace else. I have green beer.
Okay. If there is nothing else, we'll adjourn.
All right. Thanks to everybody.
Yeah, I went to Julie's. I don't think we could hear anybody.
Back in the day, my plan.
Oh, I doubt it.
Oh, before you leave, we do have a new library director in Caledonia. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler's already been working with Ashley. Marla Burns retired after 31 years of being the library director. And so Ashley is on board and Tyler's working with her, and Donovan and I will be doing other kinds of director orientation. Have you met her? No. Okay, I thought maybe just because you were in Houston County.
No. Actually, my part-time gal, Teresa McElhiney, applied for the Caledonia job, and as I said, I was holding my breath. She did not get it because she is, I didn't want to lose her. But I think after she drove there on a winter's night, because her interview was that night, she was really liking living not so far from
where she was working.
Okay. All right, we're going to close down the online meeting. Thank you to